TSMC, it's a big, important company, and we care about the results in isolation, but we also care about the results because this is the world's largest contract chip maker. It's very important when you think about NVIDIA, when you think about Apple as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, the month-over-month results weren't that encouraging, given, their overall revenue grew 40% in the first half. Obviously, we will have the earnings call next week, so they report the monthly results before. But look, 40% is really impressive, given all that growth has been driven by AI. Now, what we'll be looking out for is how is the smartphone ramp-up going to be in the second half? Because that's the holiday quarter they prep for in 3Q. And that is what drives their revenue in 3Q. And that's where right now you don't see any other pockets doing well outside of AI. Typically, you see that, other pockets like autos or smartphones will pick up. We haven't seen that. In fact, with the tariff situation, maybe there was a pull forward of smartphone ramp up in the first half.
So many of the fates of these companies are inextricably linked, and you have NVIDIA crossing that $4 trillion mark. Is there some read-through you could make between what happened with TSMC and what you might also see from NVIDIA?
I mean, AI is almost like low teens of TSMC's revenue right now, and they are expecting it to cross 20% over the next 2 years. So that tells you how that shift for ASMC fab is really moving towards what NVIDIA is selling, which is, the AI chips. So clearly, the demand remains strong for AI chips, and they are going to beat their numbers. The numbers will get revised upwards. But at the end of the day, it's about the rate of growth. Mm-hmm. And that is what I think the second half guide for TSMC is going to tell us, because right now they've guided for 25% growth for the full year. When you grow 40% in first half, that implies a second half deceleration. So it'll be interesting to see if they raise their guide, and I think there will be some read-through for NVIDIA as well in that.
Yeah, and of course, we're talking about tech, but we're really talking about AI here. So let's talk a little bit about X, unveiling Grok 4. We know there were some issues with the previous version. And it was interesting. There was also a story that I believe that the plan here for Elon Musk is to integrate its chatbot into Teslas as well.
I mean, look, there is clearly a use case to be made for voice AI inside the Tesla car. But I still think it's too early, given we have seen, Grok as a large language model does hallucinate. In fact, this week there were some instances of the hallucination. So I think, again, it's too early to say they'll be able to roll it out successfully across their cars. But there is a clear use case for voice assistance that's coming when it comes to LLMs.
I was going to say, not to sound too silly, doesn't it sound not safe to be thinking about your chatbot in your car? I guess voice assistance, sure, you can make a case for that. But
I do want to switch gears while we have you as well, because a lot of eyes on Tesla, but also a lot of eyes on Meta, handing out $200 million pay packages. I mean, how sustainable is this talent war in the industry? And are these talents really in such short demand?
I mean, that is clearly the case. The latter part, it is, probably 100 or 200 researchers that has driven all this kind of new innovation when it comes to large language models. And I think the risk here is OpenAI may actually have to slow down its product launches, given it has lost some of their best researchers. So that is the risk. If GPT-5 or some of their new models actually cannot be shipped because they lost somebody really integral to the team, I don't think it's going to change Meta's fortunes in a big way over the next 6 months, maybe. And then when you bring in all the smart people together, it's hard to coordinate. I would be interested in seeing if the Scale AI CEO, Alexander Wang, is really calling the shots in terms of controlling how Meta is going to evolve its large language model, a 28-year-old really driving the vision.
One day we're going to have Mandeep here to do a map of all of the people, because to your point
like
here,
a family tree of who's creating AI in this country.
Right, because of course what we didn't mention too is people going into Meta at a high level for AI, but old school talent, Linda Yaccarino leaving X as they merge more into AI.